Hi everybody, this is the Football Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion, your host, the Hut. Welcome back to the Football Hut, and hopefully you like this video, hit that subscribe button. So obviously, the country is in mourning on the death of podcaster, free speech advocate, civil rights leader, Charlie Kirk. And the one thing I've been going through so many articles to go through this video. And the one thing that I've noticed is a lot of people hated him. He wanted to talk to people. He wanted to talk to people and get to know them and humanize himself with them and humanize them. And fortunately, people, big portion of this country and a very evil group is behind his death. But be that as it may, I was going through articles. And a lot of people in the sports room have made fools of themselves. But it seems like with the NFL, 5 teams made fools of themselves this past Sunday by not honoring Charlie Kirk. And I thought that that was something I needed to discuss here. Now, as you know, I'm a Giants fan. I know that they honored him. They had a moment of silence at MetLife Stadium. Most of the teams had that, but these 5 teams didn't do that. We need to call them out. The fact that you don't want to honor somebody that was willing to die for what he believed in, and that's what he did. Somebody that came in peace. He spoke to people. You may disagree with what he had to say. You may disagree with how he lived his life, but he never judged anybody. But he did have beliefs that he believed in, and he was willing to defend them, was willing to talk about them, and discuss it with people that thought differently of him. But these 5 teams, well, let's read this article by Outkick. And what I find interesting is that on Outkick they talked about it, but the other website that I always go through, that I always read articles about, awful announcing, they didn't mention this. They didn't mention anything, any honoring of Charlie Kirk. And you've seen all the vigils all over the world. I've seen them in England. I've seen them in South Korea, everywhere. New Zealand men were doing chants for him. Headline, why did a select number of NFL teams choose not to honor Charlie Kirk? We weren't asking for much, but these 5 NFL teams couldn't even do the bare minimum. Well, the country continues to mourn the tragic killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Tributes in his honor have been pouring in from some of the most unlikely places. Even the notoriously woke NFL saw a good number of its teams choose to honor the late Kirk with moments of silence and video tributes. We do know that some people booed in the House of Representatives when people were asking for a moment of silence for Charlie. So this runs very deep, but it's all comes from one horrible place that this is being encouraged, and that's from hell. A few NFL teams, however, decide to skip the memorials altogether. This is from @Breaking911. The 5 NFL teams that declined to honor Charlie Kirk on Sunday: Cincinnati Bengals, the Detroit Lions, Baltimore Ravens, the Minnesota Vikings, that's no surprise, and the Indianapolis Colts. I bring up the Vikings because, of course, that's what George Floyd was, and they honored that slime ball. That career criminal, and Tim Waltz is there also. Of the 5 teams listed above that have skewed any reference to Kirk's death, our very own Armando Seguro reached out to the 2 in particular to see if they had any reason for the absence of a memorial. The Indianapolis Colts responded and said they already had a memorial planned for the late Forrest Lucas, founder of Lucas Oil. The team plays at Lucas Oil Stadium. Okay. The Minnesota Vikings told us they were choosing to honor the victims of the Annunciation Church and school shooting in Minneapolis a few weeks earlier at a pre-planned memorial. Okay. While this is understandable to an extent, there would have been plenty of time to honor Kirk along with their respective chosen memorials. True. As Seguro noted yesterday, the Green Bay Packers chose to honor both Kirk and the victims of the 9/11 attacks as their game took place on Thursday, the 24th anniversary of the attacks. And I would mention perpetrators of both of those things were by the same people. It would have been easy to hold a separate moment of silence for Kirk, or even acknowledge the brutal killing that took place on Wednesday, but these franchises remained silent. As several on social media have also pointed out, the entire league, including the 5 teams included above, honored George Floyd after his death in 2020. So what makes this any different? Well, you can figure that one out for yourself. All 5 of these cities are deep blue, sure, but that didn't stop some teams, like the Jets, who exist in a sea of Democrat voters in the greater New York area, from honoring a fallen conservative. I meant to say the Jets at MetLife Stadium. No one was asking for a flyover or a 21-gun salute. Just a moment of silence, some flags at half-mast, and an acknowledgement of the loss at the hands of a sick individual, an assassin. But these NFL franchises couldn't even muster that, further proving how deep the divide is in this country. As we look forward to Monday Night Football, it'll be interesting to see what the Texans or Raiders have planned, if anything at all. Outkick has reached out to the teams, but has not heard back from each team. Now, I haven't seen what the deal is, what happened during this game, but, I know the New York Yankees honored him on Wednesday, when this happened. It was quite a shock for everybody. I was conservative, and I follow a lot of this stuff. I know how important he is. I didn't follow him that much. I'd come across his videos from time to time. But to see this sort of outpouring by other conservatives, and I thought that was interesting to see, because he certainly touched the lives of a lot of people. And a lot of people who hung out with him called him a friend. He was more their friend than anything else. But this is a sad day, and really it's been a sad couple of weeks. Seeing what happened with him, and seeing what happened with the young woman from Ukraine. We can't have this stuff going on in this country. That's for sure. Let me continue on. Hopefully they will do what's right and follow the lead of the franchises who took a stand and made a kind gesture, even if of a vocal minority within their fan bases disagree with Kirk's opinions. In the end, it's all about humanity, and it's high time we started to rediscover some of it. Now, the true culprit behind all this is Satan. And Satan's always attacking humanity, because that's God's greatest creation. And we can't forget that. And that's why this is all happening. Well, you let me know what you think about this video, and I'll see you later.